Welcome to season 3 of Necessary Conversations. I'm your host, Saleem. I appreciate all y'all support. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share. Enjoy the episode. Thank you for watching. Welcome back to Necessary Conversation. I'm your host, Saleem. I got my guy, Jack. How we doing, bro?
Good, how are you, bro?
Man, I can't complain. I think it's been long overdue. We've been trying to do this for a while now. Schedules just could never, match up. But I'm glad we were able to finally get on this. I think we kind of started maybe right before. Um, I feel like we knew each other right before I started to get to start doing the podcast, or maybe right after. I can't remember. I think that was my sophomore year though. So
Yeah.
probably right before I started doing the podcast super heavily. Um, yeah, but now like yeah, bro, how's everything been so far lately with you?
So, I want to go back to that time because I did
Yeah,
I did have my own podcast. Um, and you asked me a question. What would it be like to have a podcast? And it was a good question. You're a business guy, so the business of having podcasts, and it's important.
for
Um,
sure.
and so I appreciate you having me on tonight, and I appreciate us having this necessary conversation.
No, for sure. Just get right to it, bro. I know you play golf here. I'm not gonna lie, not too many people knew we even had a golf team, man. Like me being one of the people. Like, I mean, how did you get kind of in golf? I've starting to take heed to it these past couple of years as far as what it takes, what it's about. I mean, all your life you hear the Tiger Woods of the worlds and things like that, but you don't get too far deep into at least for me. How did you kind of get started in golf?
So when I was little, my mom saw an ad in the newspaper, and she kind of just said, got to get this kid into golf to my father. So I started taking lessons at a Holyoke Country Club, and that's if you guys don't know where Holyoke, Mass is, right north of Springfield, where this podcast is taking place, and you know, um, and actually, um, Holyoke is a good place. Especially the rural parts of Holyoke. And we got a few country clubs, we got a few restaurants. Just so Holyoke has been part of my life. All my
Yeah,
life, I've been part of Holyoke. Holyoke has meant a lot to me, and the game of golf has meant a lot to me. So I started playing when I was 10, and I really loved it. I wanted to inspire people playing it. So that was one of my main motivations when I was a kid, is to just motivate people into getting into the game. And I'm actually doing that now. I'm a young professional looking to grow with the game. I do have a faith, which I'm going to get into. So it's been a blessing. And I give all the glory to God and my personal Savior Jesus Christ. So um, it's an amazing opportunity. I want to get as many people into the game as possible and just kind of share my story tonight. Um, which is it's a good story. I hope you
no, for
guys like it.
sure, for sure. You mentioned wanting to motivate people in golf and, bring more people to the sport. Like I
Yep.
said, I've been getting into it a lot recently. Before your mom saw that ad into the newspaper, I mean, obviously, a lot of boys, they just want to grow up, they want to play some sort of sports. Was there any other sport for you beforehand, or was golf just like the first sport you jumped into?
I played baseball when I was younger. Didn't necessarily love it, but I played basketball. I was the manager of a basketball team that won a championship up in Eastern Massachusetts. So, uh, we succeeded. Uh, I always knew what it was like to win. Definitely know what it's like to win now on and off the course, and uh, that was one of my main motivations.
Yeah.
Is
Um,
is
you,
what do you say?
no, I was just going to say, like, I didn't, not to cut you off, but like you said, like, you were trying to get into the sport. I mean, you said you didn't like baseball like that. I'm guessing basketball was a little bit of the same. It's not,
Yeah.
too enjoyable for you.
Mm.
what made golf exciting for you at the time when you jumped into it? Like when your mom said, "Okay, we're going to put you on golf. This is out of the newspaper. This is what we're going to put you out into." Did you have a preconceived notion like, I don't know, or how was that?
So, be honest with you, I thought, because I always saw older people playing golf, so I thought it was mainly for retired folks and
Hmm.
people that had money. So,
Yeah,
um, I didn't really think it was for me. And that's I saw a lot of women playing golf too. So, I didn't think it was a manly sport. I thought basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey was going to get me somewhere, maybe down the road, but
yeah.
I didn't necessarily think golf was for me. And so that's one of the hardest things to overcome was I always wanted to be a popular kid when I was little. So um, you know I had to overcome the ego part of
Mm,
it, and you know just now with my faith, it's everything.
mm,
Getting rid of that ego. So, but when I was little, of course, um, you have that ego, you have that drive, you want to be the popular kid. So that was definitely a tough part of getting into the game of golf. Was it you were never popular?
But when you first go out there, some people when they play sports, they just have it. They like obviously you need training, you gotta train, you gotta get better. When you went out on the course for the first time, did you kinda were you good at first? Did you have to get into it? Because I mean, if you're not good, the other sports like you didn't like it that much. So it's like if you're not good, it's like, I don't want to keep doing this. But then if you are good, it's like, whoa, like I'm good in something for the first time. But then it's also like you said that line of like, God, golf isn't popular. I kind of want to be popular, but I'm good at it. Like, how was that situation for you? Were you good as soon as you got on the court on a golf course?
So, it's funny that you say that because I was a baseball player as well. So,
Yeah.
um, my first instructor said, "Man, you got that baseball swing," and um, I started whacking the air kind of like this, and he was like, "No, you got to bring it down low and you got to drive it into the ground." And I didn't know what that meant at the time, but yeah, I was all right. Wasn't great, um, but as I got older, I started practicing more, and I'll get into that too a little bit. Um, you know, what really what really motivated me in playing golf is, I try to be the kicker at Holyoke High, which is right down the street from me, Holyoke High School. Uh, they didn't allow me to kick. They would have allowed me to kick, but it wasn't for me, and it wasn't part of God's plan. So, my dad was a big part of my life, and at the time, and he still is. And he really motivated me to get into golf. No other sports, and he said, my mom, Luann, he said, we need to get this kid, uh, we need to get this kid motivated to play and to practice. And that was an inspiration thing for me too. I want to always inspire somebody. So one of the big motivating factors was, in seventh grade, someone told me that I would take a bus back and forth from my school in seventh grade to AIC, the college in Springfield, and we both know it well. And um, someone told me that I was a kid now, and somebody told me, I said, what would it be like to play college sports one day? And he said, well, I don't think any of you are going to play. And that's what he said to me. And so I just said, hey, I gotta, I gotta really practice. I gotta, a little fire under my stomach, um, and I would hit 1,000 golf balls a day. So that was my practice regimen. I would practice 7, 8 hours a day, when I could, 365 days a year. Um, I was a kid with a disability, so that was always a struggle. Trying to pass classes and stuff like that to play. Um, and so, um, couple years down the road, I took a tour of AIC, and I know the guy who said it to me, and you know I went back to him and shook his hand, and um, it was a humbling experience,
Yeah.
and that always motivated me. And I hope it motivates other athletes that are watching this that don't let anybody tell you can't do something because you can, and especially with faith, um, and a kid with a disability too. It wasn't easy, but that motivating factor came from somebody telling me I couldn't do all the time, all the time.
What age was it when he told you you can't do it? How old were you at that time?
Seventh grade, so I was probably 13 or 14.
13 or 14. How usually at that age somebody tells you you can't do something. I mean, at that age you're a teenager, you start to be more rebellious. Was that a point for you where it's like, like what was the reasoning for him saying that, like behind like yeah, you guys are not gonna play college? Did because I know, like you said, golf is kind of old man sports, or that's how we look at it. And those older people sometimes their motivation factor is telling you how you can't do something so you can do it. It's kind of like a mind trick they got going on. So
Right,
was that
right.
something he was trying to do, or was it he really believed you guys couldn't play college?
Um, so I'm not gonna say who the person was, but
Yeah, for sure.
he was, he was a person that was part of the college, and he's a great guy. He really is. Good coach and a good person, to say the least. And I respect him. I really do. So I think looking at players like Tom Brady, for instance, seven-time Super Bowl champion, he was told he couldn't play college football. Never mind win seven Super Bowls. So it is a mind trick, like you said, and I have that same mentality that when someone tells me I can't do something, you kind of just you kind of just have the faith and the determination right there and then. I compare it to throwing gasoline on a fire. Is what
Mm,
it was like for me. It was just an explosion, um, and it was an explosion inside of me that I just took off. I took off running. Kind of like that movie Forrest Gump.
hmm, yeah,
Uh, he ran across the country back and forth, and that's kind of how I was motivated in a way.
yeah.
Which is cool.
Obviously, when you get into a sport, there's somebody you're looking up to professionally, whatever the case. Who was somebody like, okay, you start playing, your mom shows you the ad. I assume you wasn't really watching golf before then. So when you start to play, who's some of the people you start watching?
So a big motivator for me and a big idol at the time would be Tiger Woods. Um, I loved Tiger Woods. Minus the scandals and stuff, but I loved him as a player. He was good. And his swing, his determination, um, really, and you talk about having other idols like Tom Brady, was another idol for me, in football, and football better than anybody else. So, just the fact that he was able to play after people said he couldn't, I related to that guy. So, um, just those were some of the determining factors to become um, actually a pro now. So, to become a pro athlete and in college too.
Obviously, okay, cool. So now you're on the golf course, start practicing, you get a little better. Um, Tournaments wise, I know they're the U.S. Open and stuff like that, but for amateur wise,
Yeah.
what was your first memory of like a tournament? Did you win? Did you come out lose? How was that?
Um, so my first tournament ever, um, that really motivated me. I was 13 at the time. It was in Springfield. It was called the Springfield Republican Tournament
Okay.
after the newspaper. And you know how the Yellow Jacket they have a newspaper.
Yeah.
Well, this was a tournament I think that the newspaper ran Mass Live now, and they did a great job running it. Um, and I played this kid who I played against my senior year of high school.
Hmm.
And how far do you hit the ball? And he goes, I'm all right. So how far do you hit the ball? He goes 250, and he was a little humble about it. He ended up winning the tournament, shooting a 71, which is incredible for a 15-year-old, 13-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Uh, and I played him in college. I played him in high school, and uh, we're we're still friendly to this day. And you know, I beat him by 3 strokes. So you know what a determining factor as well. You know, just from when I was 15, I lost my father.
Hmm.
So halfway through my high school career, I lost my dad, um, which was very very hard, as you can imagine. So losing a parent wasn't easy.
For
Um,
sure.
it was hard, man. So um, just the pure fact that, and that was another motivator. My dad was my rock. Um, so when I lost him, um, I didn't let that determine me. I didn't let that deter me. I didn't. I only got stronger from there, mentally and physically.
So, obviously, you talked about the first tournament you lost. Unfortunately, your dad in those moments, was it ever like, I don't know if I'm going to continue this? Is golf for me? Because I'm sure you go through those maybe slumps when it comes to tournaments and things like that, due to just being a young kid and the mental factor and everything of what sports puts on us already. But on top of that, as you said, you lose a parent at such a young age, which is very tough. Did you ever have any of those moments where, like, I don't know if golf is for me anymore?
Um, I had a teammate in college, um, who I played with at the time, and we'd play junior tournaments together. We'd play against each other. And I remember we were walking down one of the holes at my home course, and he said, "You know," he goes, "Why are you still playing this game
Mhm.
after your determining factor passed away?" And I said, "Because he's up there." I said, "He's up in heaven watching me." And he goes, "Wow, you're stronger than I could be playing this game." And I think I won a tournament that year. Um, and that kid ended up being my college teammate, which was pretty cool. And I consider, um, for the viewers out there, I would say, if you lost a parent, uh, or you lost a loved one that has really determined you in playing a sport or doing something you love, if they pass on, I would say just keep going and keep trudging
Right.
along because they're there motivating you.
So golf is very interesting, right? I mean, the only time I really played golf is on the Wii as a kid, the Wii Sports Golf,
Yeah.
and just something to do like maybe Monster Mini Golf or Mini Golf. They kind of give you your standard golf stick, I guess you call it, or
Hmm.
golf club they call it. What's your go-to golf? Like, cause I know, like, I may watch a golf movie. I don't know if you ever seen Who's Your Caddy?
Who was your
You ever seen
caddy?
it? You ever seen that movie?
No.
Gotta watch it. It's kind of it's based off golf a little bit. It's to give you a backstory for viewers, especially if you don't know who you ever heard of the group Outcast?
Yeah, I have. I was
You
actually I was listening to them today.
okay? So
Yeah.
Big Boy is in there. Andre 3000 is in there a little bit. What's the other guy? The other brother name Faison Love. You know who that is?
No.
Okay, cool. So it's basically a movie, right, about this golf player, and he wants to try to he wants to try to get on the golf course because his father was a caddy to somebody who was famous on the golf course. So
Yep.
it's a good movie, but I say that to say like watching those movies, they'll be golfing and they'll say, let me see, give me a driver or give me a what is a wedge or like how do you pick your golf clubs? What's your favorite golf club? Talk to me, Jack.
Um, I have a few determining factors on that. So my number one factor is, obviously distance. Um, so if I have 130 yards and I'm going to pull a pitching wedge, um, which is on the higher spectrum, it's,
Yeah.
it's based off a degree system. So a lofted club I'm going to hit shorter, and a low lofted club I'm going to hit higher. I'm going to hit higher distances. So I'd have to say my driver is my number one club in my bag, but I do love to hit a good wedge now and then, and it's helped me in the past. It's let me down, but it's also helped me.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
my driver though, I can say never let me down. I had a kid tell me one time that I from Syracuse that I was uh, the best driver the golf ball he's ever seen, um, which is I've seen better, but
Hmm.
that was a that was a great statement by him.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I mean, bro, golf is such a I kind of equated to fishing a little bit, man. You gotta have so much patience, bro. Like you gotta have so much patience. And I'm not gonna lie, again, talking about Wii Sports, it's just like I know when the what do you call it? The hole is like far. You
Mm.
kind of want to hit it off first, boom, just boom, get out of there. And then, hopefully it'll land closer to the hole and you could just, easy hit to put it in, right? What's the farthest, John, put you on the spot. What's the farthest you ever hit? And from like with just one shot.
They put me in a hard spot, brother.
Yeah.
I think hole 12 at my country club, or hole 3. It's that they're both downhill, about 50 yards downhill. So um, I hit a drive one time. I think it was 406. I hit it.
Yards?
Yeah, 406 yards. That was downhill. I've gained some potential. I've gained some exceptional speed this year in my driver. I think I've gained about 24 or 25, 20, 30 yards in my driver. So um, I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully, it goes straight and on the highway, or the road, or in a bird's
Hmm.
nest.
Yeah.
You know, but it's hard to. I'll be honest. It's hard to hit the ball far and keep the ball straight.
Yeah.
Uh, it is. It really is, and that's something I've been working on for a long time.
I mean, Jack, we're talking about 506 yards. A football field is potentially from goal line to goal line 100, but around 140 yards, let's say, right? 150 even maybe. It's hard to see from one end zone to the other end zone. How are you seeing 400 yards away to know that you hit the ball in one shot?
Um, well, there's a little sign in the tee box that says, I think it said 510 yards, and I went down to the little ball, and it was on the 100-yard marker. So, um, man, that felt good. I'm gonna tell you, knowing that it only carried about 300 yards was the worst part of all that, but it
Hmm.
was extremely dry out, and that ball had rolled down a big hill. So, um, but it felt good. It felt good to have a wedge in my hand after. Uh, my I had a little flip wedge in after hitting a 400-yard drive. So um, that was a good scoring day for me. Obviously, the further you hit it, the lower the number, right?
Yeah.
If you, that is,
And how old were you at the time when you hit that far ball?
I was probably 20.
It takes some time to get to that point.
Yeah, I was 10 when I started, so
You've been going. How old are you now?
26.
So you've been going 16 years.
Yeah, brother, it's been a ride.
Yeah. So obviously, we talked about, you growing up with a disability. How was that for you? I mean, I know nowadays kids are crazy. Um, social media has a lot to do with that. The things we consume as far as maybe music or TV shows or content in general has a lot to do with that as far as how kids act when they come across somebody. How was that growing up for you?
Well, I had wrote a little story for the viewers if they want to hear it.
No, for
Uh,
sure. Let's do it.
I wrote a blurb in there. It says, life wasn't easy. I was faced with a challenge. It was like a rock wall. Um, I wrote the words of disability, the hardest words I could deal with, and that rock wall felt like 50 feet, even harder to climb because it was just like this. I mean, it was an uphill battle, man, brother, and it it felt impossible. And a kid with a disability, I leaned on a lot of adults, because kids my age would pick on me. Um, but I had a lot of support. My dad was big in the city, so I'd go to events with him, and I learned from him how to socialize. And um, school wasn't fun. Reading and writing wasn't fun. I know it's not fun for anybody. That's why school isn't. That's why we look forward to our jobs after school because school isn't fun. Let me tell you that. But we learned a lot from college. I learned a lot from my degree in marketing, and I did learn a lot from English class. Believe it or not.
So, obviously you talk about, dealing with the actual disability and, kids being different and you leaning on a lot of adults. How long did it take you to realize that, you know, I can't relate to kids all the time and they're not going to fully accept and understand because, um, ignorance just means lack of understanding. So they're not really understanding what you're going through. They're not really understanding what it is that they're not exactly there for you at the time being so young, probably really in elementary school. When did you realize like you kind of had to lean on adults?
Probably when I was about 14 or 15.
Mm,
Uh, you know, um, I was I was probably in sixth or seventh grade. I didn't know at the time why I had went to that school. Um, it started when right about my freshman year of high school because I was on the golf team and I would get picked on significantly at the golf team, uh, which helped me in a way because then I could deal with the pressure and of being a golfer and also you know people's sarcasm out there. So I would say that I had to lean on adults in high school the most.
I was to say, them picking on you was helping you. How much did it hurt you? Hurt your maybe your development or maybe your self esteem on the golf course or even just your self esteem as a person outside of the golf course?
It's a good question. Um, I think it hurt me just a little bit. I was always a tough individual. I mean, I lost my father, and I've bounced back from that. So, um, but no, I was always a kid. When I was little, I was a sensitive kid, so it didn't hurt me that bad, but I was still hurt by it.
Yeah. Um, okay, so I know college basketball, college football, you know, a player may put up a certain amount of stats. Coach comes out, watch them. I really don't even know if, I know college and college basketball and college football, they have divisions. So you got your D1s, D2s, obviously AIC is D2. Um, and then maybe like a UMass is D1.
Yeah,
How does high school recruiting go as far as golf? Is it hard? Is it very competitive? I know maybe for basketball, you gotta go, you gotta of course do your thing in high school, but you may have AAU tournaments. football, you may have 7-on-7s and camps and things like that. How does a high school recruiting scene work for golf?
So it wasn't a team sport even though it was. Um, and we played one-on-one matches. So we'd play. Um, if I was the number one on the team, I'd play the number one from the other team.
Mm.
Um, and we'd take the top four scores out of five guys, and five guys would travel. Or eight guys would travel, and it was the top four scores at eight guys. Um, and then we would, let's say that the lower number wins. So let's say we were 201 and the other team was 210, we would end up winning the match. So we got up the lowest four scores, and that's how we figured out the winner.
And you said travel to where a tournament or
Yeah, we wouldn't travel too far. It's just in Western Mass mainly. Uh, we had made it to states my senior year. I was a captain. Uh, we only lost to Longmeadow once. We were 17-1, I believe, and then we were 54-0 in my league. My last 3 years of high school,
54-0?
we were 54-0, so we were undefeated in the suburban league. Yes.
How? Like how does something like that work, bro? Like I mean, you're talking about like how? Like was it coaching? Was it talent? Was like how did that work?
Well, we had a lot of I wish Holyoke High still had a great golf team. Their basketball program's always been pretty solid. Their football's been pretty solid, but we haven't had a we haven't had a golf team in a while. But when I was a sophomore, we had a few kids that just were able to practice and that had the determination, just like I did.
Yeah.
Um, I was the only one to go and play college from my team, so that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool stat, and I was top 10 in Western Mass my senior year. So I made all Western Mass twice, I believe, and you know, um, I was the only one to look at colleges from my team, I believe. So there was a lot of good that came out of there, but there was a lot of kids that just got up and practiced after school, and
Yeah.
so that determination and grit is how we succeeded.
I mean, I know like I said, comparing it to basketball and football, those sports I understand. When it comes to basketball, you're looking at okay, points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, steals,
Yes,
um,
sir.
field goal percentage, 3-point percentage. Football, you're looking at how many touchdowns, or if you're an offensive player, how many touchdowns, how many, yards, or defense, how many tackles, how many interceptions, how many sacks. What is there to look at statistic wise, especially you're saying you made Western all Western Mass those 2 years. What is there to look at statistics wise for somebody to say, okay, this is one of the guys, one of the top guys?
So mainly it was there wasn't stats like driving distance or who was closest to the hole or anything like that, but mainly the stat they would be looking at is who shot the lowest score.
Mm,
Um, and there wasn't a stat for GPA either. I don't know if there's that in football, but I know there was at AIC, and it's something that I strive toward every year. But yeah, lowest score. So if my scoring average was low, they would determine that I was a top dog in Western Mass.
that's crazy because when it comes to football and basketball, high score is when you're a top guy. So that's interesting. What is GPA though? What's that?
Grade point average. So
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I don't know if
So it
uh,
doesn't matter at all when it comes to getting into college for golf, your GPA?
no, it didn't.
What the whoa? Y'all don't have to go through like some sort of NCAA clearinghouse? Like have to have a certain GPA?
I don't believe so. You just had to for AIC. I just had to I had to come visit and obviously and meet with the coach. Uh, I had a high GPA. I had a 3.7 in
May-
high school.
Maybe that's why they didn't even mention it to you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I always been an intelligent kid. I made magna cum laude my senior year as top 15% of my class
Well,
at AIC. I still get along with the professors that I had. Um, so I was very fortunate. I still talk to some of them. One of them being Marshall Epstein, who owns the
hmm,
Rosedale Winery down in Simsbury, Connecticut. So
yeah,
he's a cool guy, and
yeah, I had him. I had him for a teacher.
yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
He taught me a lot, and one of the things we did is we had a class where we had to learn how to do wines and make
yeah, I
wine
took. Yeah,
and
that's
all
the
that.
that's the class I took.
Yeah, and we did like a case study on Rosedale, and we had to talk about what is it about wine that makes it appealing, and was it bottles or was it cans? And well, the class said cans, and cans is a great way to socialize. You grab a can, you socialize instead of grabbing a whole bottle and grabbing a wine glass. So, stuff like that helped me really understand marketing. As you can see, I'm layered down in branding right now, so
Hmm,
uh, I'm a huge brand guy. Um, I love brands. I love um, Titleist. I love Adidas. Um, I love FootJoy, which is part of Titleist, which is a good shoe for golf. Um, I have a North Face backpack in college, so I've always been around branding. Branding's been huge for me, and that was my favorite part of marketing, honestly.
so you had stellar senior season, a stellar high school golfing career in general. How was the college recruiting scene for you?
I wasn't. I mean, I had a few coaches that I went, didn't really connect with on the level. Great people, but I just didn't really connect with them. The AIC coach I still talk to today. Um, he was a good guy. He helped me a lot within the last, the first 2 years of traveling and just trying to get that under control. Um, and then the GPA situation, because it was different going from high school to college, as you can imagine. So, just with the practice hours and, the workout hours and trying to, you had a lot more freedom in college, as you know, to kind of do what you need to do. And it wasn't like high school where you spent 8 hours in a building and then you went home
Hmm,
and then you
yeah,
did. College, I gotta say, is very freeing. Have that freedom, and for the people that are looking to go to college and be athletes, manage your time correctly.
yeah.
That's the things I had to learn the hard way.
What were some of the schools you mentioned? We weren't really getting along. You don't have to mention the coach, but the schools that were interested in you, or you were thinking about going to at the time for golf.
Well, there was Elms College in Chicopee, um, which is right by Springfield, and then there was Westfield State. That's a good guy. Um, he was a good guy. I didn't look at the college, but um, you know, I still text him to this day.
Hmm.
Um, good guy. Um, there was Holyoke Community College. They didn't have a golf team. People wanted me to check out the culinary program out there because I was interested in cooking at the time. And um, you know, Elms College, and then there was one more college. I forget the name of it, but um, none of them really fit the eye except for AIC, and that just goes back to my story before where that guy told me I couldn't play college sport at AIC, so it was kind of fitting that I went there.
I guarantee you that's full circle, bro, and I'm sure that has a lot to do to the testament of your faith. But speaking of that, when did you kind of get started in your faith fully, right? I mean, I know for me at least, I grew up in a church, two services a day type thing, following my grandmother anywhere in the church. So when did faith become kind of become big for you?
So I I grew up. My grandparents went to church. So kind of like you. They went to church on Sundays, and that's where they spent most of their time. Um, my grandma would cook for me on Sundays and Saturdays, and um, she was a very strong testimony to maybe my faith today. And we would sit in front of the TV and we watch the Portuguese channel, but it was the Portuguese Mass in Newark, New Jersey. So she loved that, and I loved her cooking. So that was another great part about being there. But she just always, I believe she prayed for me a lot, and so does my mother, um, and so did my father. I believe I wish he was here to so I could ask him, but um, I have a lot of people that are in my circle, and I so when my dad passed away, I grew up Catholic, and that's what my family is Catholic. And when my dad passed away, my dad's friend Jimmy, James Thompson, shout out James Thompson for bringing me to church for the first time. And he said, "Kid, you want to go to church?" And I said, "I'm not sure about church." Um, Same thing about golf. And
Hmm. Yeah.
I said, "I'm not sure about this church thing." Because as a kid, I obviously had an ego, and I didn't think that God would be changing my life like He is right now. And um, that's something I definitely want to get into a little bit. And so I was 15 or 16, and He brought me to church for the first time, and all I could think about, was the Christian faith, and so it was a non-denominational church, and I saw people with families, and I wanted to have one of my own one day, and so I would go to church all the time. Um, I would go to church on Sundays mainly. I would spend time a couple of services, just praying and asking God for help, and you know yeah, just um, yeah, it was a beautiful start to my teenage years, and so um, as I got older, that face started looking differently. Um, I walked in and out of the church a few times because I wasn't getting the answers I wanted, and sometimes that happens. So people that are on the other line, if you are struggling with your faith, and you are struggling staying in a church, I would encourage you to just walk in it, just like you're walking down a walking path. Just walk in it, walk towards Jesus or whoever you believe in, and um, just run to them because it is important, especially with the story I went through, and my faith is everything, man.
You mentioned, what God has done for you in your life and what He's still doing right now. What are some of those things?
So like I said, run to God, run to Jesus, or whoever you believe in. Um, and um, you know, when I was, like I said, when I was a senior in high school, um, my faith became strong, and I had joined University Springfield.
Mhm.
Uh, it was a Bible based learning group, and they were always there for me. Lady Jessica, she was great, and I had some friends there, and it was awesome, man. And then I joined a small group in my church, a men's study, and um, I would say, within the faith, Fellowship is extremely important for me. So connecting with other guys and just being with other guys is huge. Um, you know, and hanging out and just reading the Bible and just praying and listening to worship music, whatever it is extremely important for me. And that's what I was able to do there. Is I would meet on Saturday mornings and we would talk about the Bible and just what it's like to be a man. Um,
Yeah.
Especially getting out of college, being a college athlete, I always had an ego. Um, and so with that ego came a few other things, and I've had to, um, sober up my mind, um, take everything in, um, realize that I'm not really who's important on this planet, but that the God that I believe in is important, and that He's the only one that's important. So knowing that I'm His now, it's important for me. Um, and yeah, fellowship, praying, and reading the Bible is important. Especially doing it alone. I was doing it today, listening to worship music, just thinking about this call and just thinking about the nerves that maybe I'd be dealing with. But especially right now, I'm not really nervous. And the viewers out there listening, whenever you're nervous, I would, uh, I would encourage you to do that. Is just to take a second and be still.
Do you
Um,
have a Do you have a favorite Bible verse?
so yeah, I have a few. So through my whole life, um, I would I would say to myself, well, where is Jesus? Where is Jesus? I didn't know where he was at the time. Um, because if you listen to God's voice, sometimes it's small, man.
Yeah.
It's small, brother. He doesn't talk very loud. Um, so Mark, there's a verse in Mark, um, and it says, I think it's um, Mark 6:33. It is, and it says, "Seek the kingdom above all else, and live righteously, and He will give you everything you need." So, there's another one. Um, it's in Luke, and it says, it's Luke. I believe it's just a second. So it's 13. Um, it's 14:11. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. And so, especially as an athlete, I was always seeking God, but never really truly listening to Him.
Hmm.
Um, and so, something I would say for college athletes or people that want to be a college athlete is, you always thank God for the wins. But what do you do when you don't win? Who do you thank then? So, I won in life because I have Jesus. You know,
Hmm.
my everything. So, um, and I give all the glory to Him, no matter what happens in my life. Um, and those who may be going through a tough time right now, um, I would just glorify Him in every single corner of your life, because He really is um, the cornerstone of my life.
You mentioned you had interesting cooking at the time, Jack. You could throw down.
So what?
You could throw down. You could cook.
Yeah, I could cook.
What's some of your favorite dishes you like to make?
Oh man. So I'll go to the store. Um, One of my favorite stores around here is either Calabrese Market, or is that place in Springfield, that Italian place that's really good. I
The
haven't
one
had that.
by MGM.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's that. Yeah,
What's the name? It's
um,
blanking me.
yeah, but anyways,
Roses. Ro, ro,
he's,
Something
Yeah,
rolls, right?
it's another one of those. It's Italian. It's an Italian market downtown. I'll think of it later, but um, it really is. It's a good place. It's right off of East Columbus Avenue, right by MGM. So, picking up a chicken dish, pre-made chicken dish, and heating it up in the oven. Uh, Cooking a little pasta with it. Uh, you know, Breaking it up into pieces, throwing it in, and throw some peppers and onions. And I love garlic, so throwing garlic, onion, peppers. I'm Italian, so I gotta put garlic and peppers and everything.
Yeah, I love Italian food, man.
It's so good, brother. I mean,
Yeah,
I grew up eating Portuguese meals. My grandma's Portuguese, like I said, and I love European style dishes. I
really.
really That's my favorite.
What's your
So
favorite dish?
oh man, I love the dish that I make, but um, I love chicken piccata.
I heard of that before. I
It's
haven't
so
had it, but I heard of it.
it's sauteed chicken, I believe, with lemon juice and capers. So it really is stellar.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It
It's
sounds
stellar.
like it.
It's it's incredible
Yeah.
what's in it. So um another thing I thank God for is food. But I
For
don't I would
sure.
doing, and you know, something I always admired um about being a man is that, um I've always watched, the PGA tour, and Davis Love, the third, loves to cook. He loves
Hmm.
to cook, and I've always saw him using a grill, and I always saw my dad cooking too, using the grill outside. So something I recently started doing was I learned how to master a hamburger. Uh,
Master.
Master a hamburger. I know how to cook a good. I know how to cook a mean burger. Which is which is not something everybody knows how to do.
I mean, I just thought you just cook it till it's well done. It's a way to master it.
Yeah, no, you throw it on the grill. It's not as hard as it seems in the beginning, but you cook it on the grill, and you wait till it's done. And like you
Yeah.
said, the way to go. I know
Okay.
a lot of people disagree, but I certainly agree with things being well done. Yeah.
Yeah, everything well done. No pink, please. Um, what was some of the things because I think as college people or who's ever watching this, whether they're in high school getting ready to go to college or they're already in college or new in college or even about to leave, I think it's so important that we hold community and we hold just understanding life happens at times. What was some of the things that you went through and the struggles you had to go through in college that you kind of had to overcome?
Um. So obviously, in high school, I was losing my father. So that was one of the main struggles I had in high school. But in college, you know, keep my grades up, um, and just listening to um, my brothers in college and saying, um, they always say listen to the seniors, the people that know what they're talking about. And I had to reach out to a ton of them to really figure out that it was really meeting with your professors one on one. And AIC, what a great college. I would meet with my professors daily and talk to them. Uh, I learned a heck of a lot of information from those professors, just meeting with them one on one. So something I would say is, you know, uh, I really had to humble myself, and it says that if you humble yourself, you will be exalted. And so I dropped the ego and really listened to the seniors and said, "Oh, I gotta meet with my professors today." Um, Finding time to meet with them being an athlete was tough, but in college, school is a priority. Like I said, I had a 3.7, so um, you couldn't play without keeping your grades up, and I made sure that my grades were more than up. Um,
Hmm.
I had a couple of semesters in a row where I was a 4.0 student. I had 3 semesters in a row where I was 4.0. I had a 4.0. And I made sure that it was going to be a 4.0. So, um, I worked for that 4.0. It wasn't just given, and that's something I'm proud of. Um, I also was team MVP in my college golf team my junior year. So, um, when you talk about losing your father and being an MVP of your college golf team and being a captain of your high school golf team, that's pretty impressive stuff. But being a Christian, I've humbled myself. And another verse that you say, what are some of your favorite verses? And I said, John 13:7. For you do not know what I'm doing now, but you someday will. And a lot of the times I was questioning myself in high school, saying, where would I be? Where am I going to be? Even hitting 1,000 golf balls a day. Where am I going to be? And
Yeah,
I'd ask myself that a lot. So in my life, I've had a lot of success, but I've also just been humble about it.
yeah.
I talk about it a lot, but um, so yeah,
Obviously, you talked about now you're teaching kids to play golf at the YMCA, but you're also trying to continue your path as a professional golfer yourself. How has that been for you? What's the steps you have to take? Because again, just relating it back to the sports, I understand basketball and football. You have overseas,
yeah.
basketball and football. You have the G League, of course. Um, obviously, the NFL and NBA is the professional leagues, but what is kind of the route you have to take to kind of become that professional golfer you aspire to be?
Well, um, I always wanted to be a tour player, um, but I played against guys that in college that were only Division II golfers that hit it 50 yards past me. So you want to say that the 400-yard drive I hit earlier, they'd be hitting it like 450. Um, so it was ridiculous. I witnessed some extremely low scores, which I couldn't keep up with, and it was. And you go to the South, and they're even more competitive down there. So, um, but I've really thought about it, and money wise, being a club professional, excuse me, is is really the best financial route, and um, I love community, especially local community. So, um, I appreciate you getting on a phone call today.
No, I
Uh,
appreciate you for coming on. It's big.
those students, and like you are a huge community guy.
Yeah,
I love being a community guy. I love giving. Um, I love now whatever that is, being a Christian as well. Giving is giving is my everything. And as a touring pro, you necessarily don't give all the time.
yeah,
Uh, you're very selfish, and you do it for yourself. But I'm doing it for a different reason. Um, I'm doing it because this is the direction that God's pushed me in right now, and um, I was actually let go in 2024 from a job doing social media, working from home, which I told Professor Stefan that I wanted to. He was my internship advisor my senior year, and I told him I wanted to
hmm
work for social media. So I did that for 2 years, made it happen, and got let go from that place. And so I turned professional in November of 2024, 3 days later, and I've just been following that path that God has put me on. I give him all the glory because it wasn't me. Because, like I said, I'm a humble guy, and
yeah.
I'm doing this for the kids of Holyoke. Doing this for everybody else. I want to teach. I want to do the social media aspect of being a golf professional, and I've always wanted to be a professional, but I'm
Yeah.
just doing it for a different reason now.
I mean, bro, your story is, compelling. Um,
Yeah,
everything you had to go through, you're still pushing, you're still here, and you're still trying to make something out of yourself, and then more importantly, you're still chasing your dream. Um, you know, I'm not too knowledgeable when it comes to golf, but I do understand people, and I do understand that you're pushing yourself to a height that not many people are able to push themselves to and willing to push themselves to. Um, when they've been through everything you've been through.
yeah.
And it just speaks to your faith in God and His plan for you, and it speaks to just how much you're able to endure and keep going no matter what. I guess in closing, my question would be one one do what's like Jack's future? Like what where does Jack see himself in 5, 10 years? What's the I mean, obviously, you're a big faith guy, so I'm sure it's whatever God has planned for you. But if you had anything to do with it, what do you want? And is there anything else you want to get off your chest for the viewers as well?
So yeah, you kind of nailed on the head there. Whatever God has in plan for me, and every day, I talk to a guy at night, and we talk about humility. It is huge. Talk about fellowship, and we talk about humility. So, um, you know, in the next 5 or 10 years, I want to teach as many people about God as possible. I want to keep sharing the story um, that God has built, because I have nothing to do with it. But just my confidence. I want to build up, and then if I could, work at a country club, being a head golf professional. You know, that would be huge, and hopefully by then I'm married with children. Um, and I want to live on a piece of land, either in Tennessee, Florida, or Connecticut, or even Massachusetts. Um, like I said, um, I don't have big aspirations. I'm not like some people that want to go to the PGA Tour and play like Tiger Woods did. But I want to stick. I want to stick to my local communities, and if I can help out organizations um, with the money that I've received from um, God's blessings, and from people deciding to take lessons from me, and um, or whatever it is, or if it's social media. But I see myself, um, yeah, I just see myself growing from here. I can't see myself moving backwards. So hopefully that's the trend, brother.
And lastly, do you have anything else you would like to share with the viewers as far as like what you maybe forgot to mention or what we didn't get to as far as your story or what you want them to know or just a message you want to leave them with?
Um, I have a story right here, and I talked about my time at AIC. I talked about getting there. I talked about my state championship run, leading my team to states and high school. Talked about my father. Um, I talked about my marketing career, which I'm glad I got to. And yeah, I mean, um, mainly just I would just say to the viewers, um, don't give up on your dreams. Um, when you start young, just focus on something and um, really just focus on that one thing. Pray about it, see where it takes you, have faith in it, and if you're fearful of it, I would just walk towards it because um, sometimes we fear what God has planned for us. It shouldn't be that way, but it is that way. Um,
Or,
and so just walking towards it and having faith in it. Whether it's being a college athlete or being a professional athlete, it's or professional in accounting or finance or marketing, whatever it is. Um, have faith that you can do it because, um, as you've heard, I've had a heck of a run at it, and hopefully more to come. So,
no, definitely, definitely. Listen, Jack. Like I said, bro, your sustainability and doing what you want to do and your push and your drive forward is needed, especially in today's world because it's not. We have so many people who have a dream and they don't want to push that dream to where they need to get it. I realizing everything's not going to be handed to you. They may see certain people born into a situation and that's how they want it. They want it easy. And not realizing that's not how God wants you to have it. And then also realizing that sometimes, man, like what you want for yourself is completely different from what God wants for you. And I think
oh,
you're the epitome of that, of understanding that, and just from a simple fact of most people who have been playing golf since 10 years old, still playing 26, their goal would be PGA. Your goal is to, for one, do what God wants for you, but also to stay close to your community and still teach people about God as much as possible. So, we're going to stay in touch as we have been. But I just hope the best for you. Whatever God has for you, take it to the moon.
man, brother,
And
thank you,
hopefully it's much bigger than the Bible say. If you wanna make God laugh, tell him your plans. So if your plans is to stay in the community, hopefully his plans is to take you to PGA and get him that's go golfer. Before you get out of here, though, I got two last things for you. First, I'm gonna just ask you the first question. I'm gonna ask you the second one. Put you on the spot here. First, I need your top three golfers of all time.
man. I love because of my Christian faith. I love Scotty Scheffler. One of my favorites of all time. He won 7 times last year in the tour. Um, he's got a wife, he's got a child, which I strive to do one day. Or I strive to have. So, like a family like that, and that's something beautiful that I look up to. The Bible says do not idolize over people, um, but I do have my favorite golfers. So, and then Luke Clanton is another one. He's an amateur. He's playing this week in Florida. He's going to try and turn it. He's going to try to earn his tour card. And then another one would be I love some of the guys that are playing in the Tiger Woods League right now. Um, I respect all the humble golfers out there. Um, those are my favorite golfers. So that's all I have to say about that. But
And now, last question before we get you out of here. Do you have any shout outs for anybody?
um, I shout out Epstein for and my mom. Um, and all the professors at AIC, all the coaches that got me here, my family, James Thompson for bringing me to church, and just the people that have been there for me, um, through my downfall and um, who have got me through mountains and valleys, I like to call them, and my life group. Um, I like to shout out Tony. and Jim, Chanel, um, Chantel. Um, I have a lot of people that I know. So Pick Delude from Pick's Pub, Joey Delude, his wife, Mike Keane, who taught me how to golf, Marty Ford from Oil Country Club, Jan Martell from Wyckoff, and he's the pro there. That's where I might be working this year. So, God willing. So, there's a lot more to that list, but
Yeah,
as we keep talking, as we keep going, there'll be more shout outs. So if I missed you, I'm sorry, but I'm a man of God and I love everybody. So
man. Listen, Jack, I appreciate you coming on. It's been a dope episode. Like I said, I hope you felt like you got everything off your chest that you needed to get off, and your story inspires somebody, whether it's athlete, non-athlete. I'm sure it will. So I do appreciate you coming on, taking the time. Like I said, again, it's been long overdue, so I'm glad we finally got the opportunity to get it done, and I'm just glad we were able to get it done. I appreciate you coming on. That's your conversations. I'm your Saleem saying we out.